I got everything mounted up. This is the emergency brake cable hooked up, so if I pull the cable from inside the cab, it'll put tension on the caliper, and that's the emergency brake for the passenger side and also for the driver's side. So once I put some tension up front, what I did is I ran the cable through the spring. I painted everything so you can't really see it, but everything was getting rusty because of the rain. But this is the end of the cable, goes to this arm, which is deactivated by the spring here, which is pressed up against the caliper housing, and then it comes up around, and I welded on you can't really see it on this side, but I welded on a bearing that the cable rides on, and it comes from the housing all the way around, ties into the factory brake line, the other pulley over there, which is a straight 90 from that housing. So everything's tied in, it works. The first time around, when I pulled the e-brake, which is inside the cab here, let me go around, crawl out from under the car. But if you go over here inside the cab, you have the handbrake here, and when you pull this, which, let me try, and I didn't put enough tension on it, but I can't even spin the wheel. I'm pulling on the wheel and it's off the ground, if you don't believe me. Bam. And it's not in gear. Second, first, neutral. So it's not in gear, off the ground. Well, you can actually see me spinning it, but I didn't put enough tension on it because I'm not sitting inside the car. You should all know that. So this is what it looks like with the caliper on the rotor. This one I really can't spin because I don't have enough force on it. I'm trying. And that one's pretty tight. So with tension on everything, it's pretty decent line, going across. I think I did a pretty good job tying into the factory cable. What I was trying to say is I snapped the original handbrake that goes over here. So the original cable goes in from here, from the cab, all the way over the transmission. It's that brown line. Comes in over here. There's a little keyway pin for this thing. It goes to the frame here, and then it ties into that clip over here. So that's the front bit of the handbrake. And this wire is really not that thick, but the one that goes on that side is, and it's really got a lot of tension on this side. So I was gonna upgrade that cable after mine broke, but this one's doing pretty well. I greased up the fitting that's in the cab over there by the firewall. So if this one breaks, it's $40 for a new one. It takes about 2 days to get it, maybe a week. But this one, if it breaks, it goes all the way to that back part right there. So it's just a big loop that comes around into here. Alright, so I popped the hood open. The handbrake goes through that housing right there, the nice shiny aluminum piece that I cleaned off, and it drops down to the bottom over there, right around the transmission, all the way around. And it ties into the factory handbrake, which is here. So you got the cable mechanism down there. And the cable goes through that shaft, and it ties into this whole arm. And once you pull the arm, it locks and everything's pretty handy dandy. So this is the broken one that I had in my car. What broke on it is actually the cable that goes on that end here. It's the old cable housing. So I pushed it out all the way, and you can see the cable frayed inside of there. Probably because it does a sharp 90 through the firewall there. So this is the trick to getting this out, is actually I think you have to push these levers, and you push that one, unlock it. You have to pull the sensor out of here, and then this, well, mine broke on my old one, so I just threaded it in, and you stop for the brake light switch. It's just Teflon tape over there. But anyway, so the point is to take that and push it all the way through. And if you can see, let me pull it in a good spot here. Your old brake line comes in. What the hell am I grabbing? So that was the end of the brake line that goes inside of there. So once you pull this switch out, this whole shaft goes out far enough to where, without breaking that stop, don't twist it because it will snap off. I've done 2 at the junkyard already. You don't even have to mess with the stop that's in, this thing that I made. You don't have to take that out at all. You actually have to disconnect the switch, and these 2 little levers, you kind of have to release the lock to slide the inner shaft through this housing to get that past to where you could pull that out. So if I pull the lever now, it will lock out, so you can see where the old hole was. Would go in. Let's put that in. Anyways, I'm tinkering around with this too much, but the point is that if you want to replace this cable with a heavier one, it's a lot of work. So it's easier to just replace it with another one and grease it really good on that little part over here. I mean, you can grease the cable, and then there's a roller inside of here that a cotter pin runs through, and I greased the crap out of it, and that thing is so much smoother now, and I doubt it's gonna fray the cable anymore. So my handbrake works, my brakes work, my emergency brake works, and my car is converted from drums to discs. Now the test would be how much of an angle I can go with the emergency brake. But the whole point of this was I would never have brakes when I go through mud, and this definitely helps. So imagine you get mud on your rotors, just take it to the water, drive it through, no more mud. And yeah, so